Ryan, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I hear you had a little COVID.
Got a little bit. The flu was worse, comparatively speaking.
So you had
But
the pandemic and then you had the flu, or you had them at the same time?
no, separately, which was awesome. That's the best way of doing it. Is like
Yeah.
completely separate, so you
Yeah.
have more time to lose weight. It's always a silver lining, man. Give me a little good flu. Drop 5-10 pounds. Like I said,
Skinny jeans fit.
skinny
That's right.
jeans fit, looking good.
Nothing like a good pair of skinny jeans, right?
Absolutely.
How you been, man?
Good. You're working hard, staying out of trouble, staying positive. I would say staying positive, testing negative, but that's not the case.
Yeah, right. Hey, real quick. We're both in Chicago. It's nice and rainy today. You see, we got long sleeves on, sweaters, and so fall's here. That's for sure. So,
Oh yeah, weatherproof gear.
yeah, for sure. Hey, tell people a little bit about you, who you are, what you do.
Yeah, my name is Ryan Cotter with the Mortgage Corp. So we handle financing on residential and commercial real estate. So if you have a question about hey, I would love to purchase this, I'd love to refinance this, I'd love to do some improvements, add value. We handle stand up financing, renovation financing, cash out financing. So anything with real estate associated. If you need some sort of lending vehicle, we can help you out.
Okay, awesome. So let's talk about mortgages a little bit. So I came to you this week. I brought you a couple multifamily deals that we're looking at and chasing. And I think on a lot of this commercial stuff, a lot of this multifamily stuff right now, it's coming down to debt pricing, right? Um,
Yep.
we looked. You floated some numbers out there to us on what it would look like if we did a non-recourse loan. Going back looking at recourse, man, the numbers are they're crazy. Why is the market the way it is right now?
People are just like, I use the analogy of um, the shower and the hot water tank, right? So the Fed acts, very similar to that type of situation where they're too late to turn the spigot all the way to warm, and then when they do, they overturn it. So the hot water tank really kind of kicks in, and the hot water comes out, and you scold yourself, and now they got to dial it back to find that lukewarmness, so that way you could jump in the shower. So cold, hot, and then warm. So the pendulum is kind of, now we've seen rates jump up, right? They're going to come back down like the pendulum. It's just the cycle that they follow because they're always behind. It's just unfortunately that's the way they operate.
Well, what's interesting is there's a couple of people are saying that next year the rates are going to come back down. Do the deal, you'll be able to refinance into a better rate. How do we know that rates are going to come back down next year? I mean, I've been at this, probably as long as you have been at it, and I don't necessarily know that's true. So, what indicators do we have right now in the market that are saying that they will come back down?
So you hope for the best, but you're always prepared for the worst. That's solid business practice 101, right?
Yeah.
So what we are talking about now is buying price based on the debt, right? So if it works now and it gets better in the future, good. Can you say like 100% interest rates are going to come back down to 4.5%? Like Fannie Mae came out with something yesterday saying the exact that, like next year at some point in time in 2023, they anticipate 30-year fix being back down to 4.5. Yay, great. Do they have a crystal ball? Not that I'm aware of. I mean, they have projections, but is that crystal ball 100% accurate? Does it have money back guarantee? No. So buy based on the current numbers. If in the future they go in your favor, great, but don't extend yourself into a situation where you need that to have it make sense.
Right. So, that's the funny thing right now is deals aren't working at the 8-9% interest rates, right? For non-recourse debt. They're not even working in most cases at, 6 or 7%. And so, that's gonna, are the feds really trying to force a stall in the market?
For sure. For sure.
What?
I mean, so the recession, you have to pump on the brakes, on a massive level to, get things back in line. So they have to do this. They just because they don't know how to like ease up to a stop sign, they only know like 40 miles an hour, slam on the stop sign, right? And then take off again, and then slam before the stop sign. They don't know how to like. It's kind of like the misses, like hey, there's a stop sign up there. We could start applying the brake at any point in time now. No, right, like 10 feet before, slam on the brake, and then everyone's jolted. It's just how they do it.
So, who's getting hurt though when interest rates are low at, when you can do a deal like I closed a deal last year in Florida, and rates were 4%. Who's getting hurt at that?
So is that really hurt or like helping? They're not like thinking of that in that mindset. And I always tell people, like, obviously you got the inverse relationship between interest rates and price. So when prices are high, rates are low, and then they switch, right? And then if you follow the chart and you kind of buying a property each way, dollar cost averaging, that's really the best long-term plan, because like when you buy when prices are high and rates are low, great. And then when they switch right here, then you still should buy, absolutely, right? And then when they switch again, where the inverses happen because you bought it low, rates were high, you get to refinance it at low. But it's dollar cost averaging. You gotta trying to time one deal, in the vacuum, is like picking like fantastic stocks. But dollar cost averaging real estate, just as you would dollar cost average your portfolio buying stocks over time, that'll be the trajectory that you want to try to focus on. Otherwise, timing things. I say those deals that you picked up at 4%, awesome. I don't think the deals that you picking it up at 8, if you get them at the right price, are bad either. They might be even better deals that turn into way better deals in the future.
Yeah.
So again, it's the dollar cost averaging approach that I think most people should be looking at employing, as opposed to, I want to get this right now because of it's at the best price and best interest rate, typically don't line up.
And there's still a disparity in the market too, right? With seller pricing being so high, because of interest rates now, sellers are still asking what they could have asked maybe a year ago. They're still asking it today. I think it's going to take a while for that pricing to come down and sellers to realize, hey, I'm not going to get this deal sold. I'm looking at some good assumption deals out there though, and even the assumptions are a little questionable on how they're going to make sense. So, it's really underwriting differently today, and it's really being much more conservative than normal.
I think that makes the most sense. You don't hurt yourself by being conservative, I think, in this market. I think you only position yourself for the future. I'll go back to and it's a different time because there's a lot more equity out there right now. So sellers aren't needing to sell.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of them, because they have tons of equity. And if the asset is already cash flowing and I don't have an incentive, a very good incentive to sell this asset, income producing asset, I'll hang on to it, right? I don't need to sell it. So there's not the demand, or I should say the supply of inventory, because there's no necessity to sell.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's not dump all the marbles out of our jar right now, right?
We've got a summit coming up.
That's right. The summit's coming up, and you're going to be speaking. You're going to be on a panel with some other lenders. You guys talking about, interest rates, mortgages, how to get debt, how to do deals, and anybody that is looking for uh, knowledge, information, how to keep up with the market, go to the summit, right? Get registered. What are you looking for? What, from that experience? The first of all, let me just say the summit 3-day virtual event. I have over 30 speakers speaking on one stage. So I have over 20 main stage speakers and then 3 panels. I have a panel on, mortgages, lending, a panel on getting started in multifamily, a panel on raising private capital. We're going to talk about the gamut at the summit. How do we find the best deals, especially in today's marketplace? How do we price them? How do we underwrite them? How do we negotiate? How to raise private capital. I'm going to have a syndication attorney on, someone talking about self-directed IRAs. So, we're really going to cover a lot of ground at the summit. It's really, 3 days of action packed where we're just going to pour into the attendees, the people that are hanging out, to get them as much information as we can get to them to help them grow. You there with me, or?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry.
I didn't know if you got disconnected or not. Yeah, hey, listen, sometimes when we have this weather in Chicago, you never know where somebody goes, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I'm looking forward to you being there, bringing some more of your content, your information. You've been doing this a long time, and obviously, and one thing that, when we first met, and talk about this real quick, but when we first met, you what really intrigued me about you was your 2-3-1 or 2-3-4 process.
4-3-2-1.
4-3-2-1 in the small multifamily space. So people who are brand new, novices in the business, coming into the business, or making the transition from single family into multifamily, that's a process that you can share with them to help them see how they can really get started.
Yeah, I love what you've put together in terms of all the different pieces, because a great analogy would be crawl, walk, jog, run, sprint, right? And I can help people out with what I like to do, which is the crawling, walking, jogging. And then you have these guys that hey, all right, you got 50 units under management. Hey, you got 100 units under management. You need to talk to these people, because it's all about mentorship in the right context, right? Somebody that has 100 units needs to talk to somebody who has 200 units. Somebody has 200 units needs to talk to somebody who has 500 units, right? It's all about scalability and talking to the next person, because if you got 10 units talking to somebody who has 1,000 units, there's so much gap in between there, and so much learning that that person would be a great idol to look up to, but applicable pieces that you can execute on is really going to happen from the guy that's the 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, right?
Absolutely.
And so where I try to focus my attention is helping those people with hey, residential side, smaller commercial stuff, 4-unit buildings. Hey, I'm a big believer in the first thing anybody should buy is a 4-unit property. One of your speakers happened to be a client of mine. I look forward to catching up with him. And now he's got, John Castman. How many units does he have, or part of? I helped him buy his first multifamily house hack, which, that was, one of the stories that he shared, on one of your podcasts, which is, once you change the mindset of okay, wait a second, I don't want to buy a house, single family condo. I'm going to buy a 4-unit property. I'm going to live in 1 unit, rent out the other 3, and then I don't have a housing payment. And then, my 4-3-2-1 is follow that system. Buy a 4-flat, then buy a 3-flat, then buy a 2-flat, then buy a single family.
Right.
Too many people do it the other way around. And if you follow the 4-3-2-1, we'll show you how to get in with very little money, potentially even get money to improve the property, add value, create equity that you can leverage into other things. Maybe that's their first 10 unit, first 20 unit, but Yeah, again, like we got to show you how to crawl, then you walk, jog, and then somebody else is going to show you how to win that 40-yard dash in in under 4 seconds.
Yeah. And I love that analogy. It's an awesome analogy. And the funny thing is people say, oh, I'm going to wait on the sidelines right now or don't want to do anything. And I always tell people, I say, you know what? There's never been a better time in history. Get involved in real estate, because even, like you said earlier, interest rates might be a little bit high, but they're going to come back down. And when they do, you can refinance. So as you make the deal work well now, it's going to work even better later. So, don't hesitate, but come out to the summit. I want to invite everybody to go get registered. Matter of fact, I have an early bird special offer. If you are listening to this and you want to register, go to multifamily22.com. Put in the coupon code earlybird22. You get 60% off of the VIP Plus ticket. So I know Ryan and I both look forward to seeing you there. So get out to the summit in a couple of weeks, and it's virtual 3 days. If you can't make the whole thing, it'll be recorded and you can get a copy of it. So Ryan, what are you doing this weekend?
So got several construction projects that gotta finish up before winter comes. That's the fun part about being in this business, is you always got something to do. Weekends are busy. Plus I'll fit in plenty of like family time. We'll hit a pumpkin patch, do some Halloween stuff, spend some time with the family. But yeah, we got some projects we need to button up before the weather turns even worse than this. It's coming.
It's coming. Oh yeah, there's no doubt. It always shows up, doesn't it? Yeah. Winter always comes. So
always comes.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, look, it was great seeing you today. Tell people how they get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you.
Shoot me an email at Ryan at the MTG Corp. That's THE MTG CORP. Just shoot me an email. Tell me what you're looking for or any questions you have. More than happy to help.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you being on with me here today. Looking forward to the summit in a couple of weeks, and we'll catch up soon.
I appreciate you, my friend.